Chosen one. This payment is bigger than you imagined. Riches are coming in multiples. You may not have seen it coming in this exact way. You may have thought the blessing would arrive in one neat stream, perhaps tied to a single door or one favor. But what's unfolding now is not the size you once imagined. This isn't a drop. It's a flood. This payment, chosen one, is bigger than your logic, wider than your expectation, and multiplied in a way that will overwhelm even your deepest thoughts. You're standing at the brink of something tremendous, and heaven is already releasing confirmations in your spirit that you were selected for overflow, not just reward. Riches are coming in waves, and the command has already gone out. Watch this video until the end, and write your warmest wishes in the comments, and write Amen, along with the number 777. This act is not small. It energizes the atmosphere and opens the gates of momentum. Your wishes, powered by belief, ripple into the fabric of the unseen, accelerating the very miracle that was whispered over your life long before now. Now, chosen one, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. The moment when the spiritual transaction becomes physical. The moment when what was stored up in silence begins to flow without limitation. God has authorized a payout, and you're not receiving a portion. You're receiving multiples. Multiples of what was withheld. Multiples of what was denied. Multiples of what was mocked. God is not just responding. God is multiplying the response. That's why it's not coming as a single stream. It's not arriving in a drip. It's showing up in waves, one after another, as if every past drought was preparing for this grand compensation. There's a reason this is happening now and not before. There's divine timing attached to this wealth. Heaven waited until you had endured, matured, and elevated past the shallow level where payment would have just excited your ego. Now, this payment is being delivered to the part of you that carries mission, the part of you that knows wealth comes with weight. It's not just money, it's momentum. It's not just overflow, it's outpouring. This isn't about materialism, it's about divine materialization. Everything that was suspended in heavenly escrow is now being unsealed. You've heard people say, it's your season. But chosen one, this isn't a season. This is a divine signal. A moment in the spiritual timeline where everything attached to your name is being reevaluated by God's authority. The evaluation has ended. The stamp of release has been granted. The riches are coming not in scarcity, but in multiplied forms. That means when one door opens, 3 others will swing open behind it. When one deposit lands, another one you didn't expect will follow it. When one source pays you, others will mirror the motion. Why? Because the heavens are not paying you back. They're paying you forward. And you're going to feel it. Not just in your bank, not just in your physical life. You'll feel it in your energy. You'll feel it in the reactions of others who suddenly sense something heavy resting on you. This kind of divine payment doesn't just arrive in numbers. It arrives in authority. The atmosphere begins to respond to you differently. People see you and can't quite explain why your presence feels elevated. They try to define it with earthly words: glow, luck, shift. But none of them capture the truth. The truth is that God's currency is resting on you. The truth is that favor decided your name was overdue. This is why so much chaos preceded this confirmation. This is why certain people turned cold for no reason. Why opportunities disappeared just before they reached you. Why some thought they had the power to stop your rise. What they didn't know was that God's ledger was still active, and nothing written in it can be blocked by human hands. This payment was never in their control. It was never in their hands. It was always spiritual. And now it's becoming visible. So don't be surprised when what arrives doesn't make sense by the laws of man. Don't be shocked when one miracle activates another. This is not a coincidence. It is a cluster blessing. And God specializes in the clusters. Blessings that arrive so close together that your life changes in days, not decades. That your identity is redefined not by your past, but by your payout. That your enemies are left speechless because what God decided to give you cannot be returned to sender. You've been under spiritual review, not judgment, alignment. The reason some things felt delayed was because God wasn't just reviewing what you were asking for. He was preparing what matched your future. There are payouts designed for the old you, and there are payments aligned to the version of you that God already sees. The version that lives above fear, above lack, above the limitations of past conditioning. That version is now stepping forward, and the payment is finding its rightful match. Something supernatural is already organizing around you. If you've felt a stirring, a tension, a sense that something unseen is happening, you're right. Angels have been dispatched. A transfer has been initiated. Heaven's logistics are not like man's systems. When God moves, the earth responds. When the divine declares you do, the dimensions must agree. That's what's happening right now. Your life is about to bear the weight of spiritual promises becoming physical proofs. The wealth that's arriving is not random. It's not a lottery. It's law, spiritual law. The law that says faith brings form. The law that says obedience activates overflow. The law that says the righteous will not be forsaken. These laws are older than the systems of this world, and you were born under their jurisdiction. That's why your journey has always felt different. That's why your timeline has never matched others. You're not late. You're aligned. And now the payout will prove it. There's no room left for begging. No space left for proving yourself to those who never had the spiritual eyes to recognize you. This payment is coming to make a statement. Not about your worth. That was never in question. But about God's promise. Every tear you cried wasn't ignored. Every delay wasn't a punishment. Every empty moment was a setup for this spiritual surplus. And now, not only are you being paid, you are being publicly shown as favored. The riches aren't only financial, they are also relational, emotional, spiritual, and visionary. You'll be paid in peace. You'll be paid in clarity. You'll be paid in ideas that unlock legacies. You'll be paid in time returned. You'll be paid in protection. You'll be paid in ways that feel like miracles, but are actually just your portion finally arriving. God is not improvising. This was written. And what is written cannot be erased. Not by critics, not by delay, not even by doubt. You're walking into rooms where favor has already made an announcement. You're arriving into places where people don't know why they like you, but they do. Where contracts feel easier. Where your name gets mentioned without your effort. Where people start giving before you even ask. It's not manipulation. It's manifestation. What was assigned to your spirit is now recognizing its physical home, your life. The payment is looking for you, and it won't stop until it finds you. That's why you're being pulled towards certain ideas. That's why specific visions keep returning in your thoughts. That's why you're feeling drawn to make room, even when you don't see the full picture yet. It's because the payment is real. The payout is not imaginary. It's already in motion. And every time you take a step forward in belief, you magnetize it closer. Not because you are chasing it, but because it has your name etched into its energy. You've survived without it long enough. Now you're about to thrive with it. You've held faith when there was nothing to show for it. Now you'll hold evidence that can't be denied. You've prepared in silence. Now you'll prosper in public, and it won't stop at one blessing. God isn't in the business of barely enough. He is the God of more than enough. So expect a sequence, a series, a sudden flood, not one miracle, but many. And when it starts to arrive, when the payout turns into pattern, remember, this isn't a glitch. This isn't a surprise to heaven. This is what was always stored for the one who kept believing when there was no sign. And you did. You kept believing. That belief is why the release has multiplied. What's coming next, chosen one, is not a continuation. It's an elevation. You're not just stepping into a new moment. You are becoming the new moment. The atmosphere around you is shifting because the assignment on your life has reached a new height of expression. You have graduated from waiting to welcoming, from hoping to holding, from enduring to expanding. And this expansion is financial, but it is also spiritual. It's deeply encoded with divine fingerprints. This isn't money for vanity. This is divine validation through visible provision. What was once invisible to others, the battles you fought, the burdens you carried in silence, the inner strength you had to gather just to smile some days, is now becoming the reason your blessings cannot be blocked. God doesn't forget sacrifice. He doesn't overlook private pain. And this moment is the collection of every seed you ever planted in tears, every time you gave while empty, every night you whispered your faith into the darkness. Those seeds are now blossoming into harvests that cannot be contained. This is why your name is starting to travel through conversations you weren't present for. Why doors are opening that you didn't knock on. Why ideas are gaining traction the moment you write them down. You are no longer operating under man's system. You're operating under kingdom acceleration. Time itself is being bent to favor you. That which would normally take years is now happening in weeks, even days. This is the fingerprint of a divine payout that has been approved in heaven. This is not about luck. It's not about strategy alone. It's about the supernatural structure that has been built around your obedience. You may not have noticed it, but you've been constructing a temple within, a place of discipline, patience, and reverence. And now God is filling it. Just like he did with Solomon's temple, God doesn't fill something empty unless it has been made holy by purpose. Your inner work made you holy ground. That's why riches are being poured in, because God trusts the vessel. There are forces that tried to block this, people who spoke against you, not because of anything you did, but because your light irritated their shadows. You were marked differently. They knew it even before you did. They sensed something would one day surround you with favor. That awareness made them afraid, and that fear became aggression. But what they failed to understand is that every attempt to bury you only deepened your roots. And now, as the payment comes, those same voices will have no choice but to go silent. This isn't revenge. This is revelation, a revealing of who you truly are. Someone chosen, someone assigned, someone covered. The riches are not just an arrival of wealth. They are an announcement of identity. When God releases this kind of payment, it doesn't just bless the receiver. It wakes up everyone connected to them. That's why your blessing will not be private. It will be loud. And not for arrogance, but for alignment. Those connected to you need to see that obedience works, that belief carries fruit, that faith pays, and it will be undeniable. The payment won't be subtle. It will be so abundant that even those who discounted you will be forced to reassess. That is how divine compensation works. It's not just fair. It's transformational. It's not just repayment. It's restoration. It's not just what you lost. It's what you were always supposed to have multiplied through time and favor. It will come in unexpected forms. Not just checks and transfers, but invitations, collaborations, properties, projects, and global ideas that seem to bloom the moment you breathe life into them. And when you receive it, you'll notice something strange. It won't feel foreign. Because even though this version of you hasn't lived in that financial realm before, your spirit always knew it belonged there. There won't be imposter syndrome, only confirmation. There won't be fear, only flow. Because this was never about making you rich just for the sake of riches. It was about revealing the wealth that was already installed in you before the foundation of the world. God is only releasing what was already prepared. You'll remember the prayers you once whispered with trembling, and you'll realize they were always heard. The delay was never a denial. It was divine timing rearranging the details so the moment of release would come when you were ready to handle it with grace, not just excitement. And you are ready now. That's why this is happening. You're not being rewarded randomly. You're being promoted with precision. You passed the test you didn't know you were taking. You endured the wilderness you didn't know was a preparation ground. You trusted when others quit. You gave when you had every reason not to. And heaven counted every action. That's what people don't see. The spiritual accounting. While others keep count of your failures or your time in hiding, God keeps count of your sacrifices, your obedience, your hidden victories. And now the record has been balanced. Now the deposit is being released. And it's not coming through your job. It's not limited to your current skill set. It's not defined by what you've already seen. It's coming through open portals, divine ones, that override systems and tear down structures that no longer fit your future. Chosen one, your financial elevation is spiritual warfare in reverse. It's not just for you. It's a disruption of every generational curse, every inherited pattern of struggle, every unconscious fear of abundance. You are not just receiving, you are rerouting bloodlines. You are not just gaining, you are grounding future wealth into reality. And the confirmation of that is already starting. Pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to the speed. Pay attention to the patterns repeating with more power than before. This is the frequency of overflow. And it doesn't stop. Not this time. Not at one payment. Not at one blessing. Because this is the beginning of a multiplication sequence. Each payment will unlock another. Each breakthrough will bring new breath. You won't run out of room. Your life will expand to fit the size of what God is sending. New systems will be born from this. New mindsets will stabilize this. New blueprints will emerge from your spirit and turn into divine architecture. And you'll start to feel differently. Not proud, but powerful. Not entitled, but appointed. Not boastful, but blessed. This shift isn't just outer, it's inner. Your identity is catching up with your inheritance. You no longer see yourself as one who hopes. You walk as one who knows. That knowing shifts how you speak, how you show up, how you decide. It doesn't mean you have it all figured out. It just means you're finally in flow with what God figured out long ago. This multiplication of wealth isn't just monetary. It's mission-focused. What God is releasing into your life is tied to impact. The reason this payment is so much larger than what you previously envisioned is because it's not just for survival. It's for significance. You weren't called to blend in. You were called to disrupt cycles, rewrite outcomes, and build things that haven't existed in your bloodline until now. And that kind of assignment needs more than just enough. It demands more than just favor. It requires a foundation that can carry the weight of generational change. That's why the payment was delayed, not denied. It had to match the version of you that wouldn't collapse under its magnitude. You needed time to grow into the rhythm of this new reality. There had to be a spiritual calibration. And now that the alignment is complete, the release is underway. What you are stepping into now will stretch far beyond your personal comfort. It will begin to affect others in ways you can't yet imagine. Your increase is going to inspire faith in the quiet watchers who've been waiting for proof that God still does the impossible. But be aware, this divine elevation will confuse some. Not everyone will be able to comprehend the pace and size of what's coming your way. They will ask, how did this happen so fast? They won't know about the late nights, the empty accounts, the silent seasons, the spiritual war you fought just to hold your belief. But you will know. You'll remember the trenches. And that memory will keep you humble, grounded, and steady while standing in overflow. Because this isn't a gift for you to hoard. It's a signal that you've become a distributor of divine substance. The evidence of what's happening to you now won't be subtle. It will become undeniable, unmistakable, and unstoppable. Chosen one, the season you're walking into is proof that you've stepped into the rhythm of divine repayment. not just for what was taken from you, not only for what was stolen. This is about being paid for what you carried, what you didn't say, what you didn't retaliate against, and what you continued to build despite silence all around you. The payout is a reflection of the weight you were willing to bear while keeping your faith alive. And now, that weight is transforming into waves of reward. This new reality is not random. It's not accidental. It's not spontaneous. It is the exact unfolding of divine design. God's system does not forget. It records. It doesn't pay in pieces. It pays in patterns. You've entered the pattern now. That's why things feel different. That's why, even before the transfer hit your hands, your spirit already knew. Something was shifting. Something invisible had been set in motion. The dimensions around you started responding to the signature of your spiritual breakthrough. And this response isn't temporary. It's structural. Your entire life is being restructured to match the new level of divine release. This means some routines will break. Some people will fall away. Some systems will be removed. Don't mourn it. It's part of the payout. The structures that were built around lack, delay, confusion, or codependence cannot hold the wealth of what God is releasing. That's why the breaking is a blessing. The disruption is sacred. What you're losing right now is simply what cannot go where you're about to arrive. And where you're going isn't a destination. It's a domain, a realm of influence, a place of divine positioning. In this domain, you will not beg. You will not chase. You will not shrink. You will not wait for permission. You will walk into rooms with the kind of authority that cannot be learned, only inherited from heaven. That's what's happening now. You're receiving a spiritual inheritance. It's coded into this massive payment. You thought it was money. And yes, money is included, but it's more than currency. It's a release of power, provision, precision, and prophetic alignment.